Alright, welcome back. Time to start on the rear section. The rear section is definitely heavy. They use metal for the thrust vectoring nozzles, and it's just heavy. And then you throw some motors in there and it gets real heavy. So, and you'll see later on when I get to the fuselage, I'm going to do a mod just based off what happened to my first one, to help support this, because the last one I had, so if you bolt on the fuselage, and then from here to about right here is just, oh, well, maybe like right here, yeah, about right there is about open fuselage, and then you got your wheel bays and stuff, bulkheads and stuff, but there's nothing between these two. You know, there's a bulkhead in the back of the fuselage where this marries up, obviously, to hold these, but in between that bulkhead and then the next one up, there's nothing. And then on the bottom, they cut these little vent holes to simulate, exhaust and things, or vents. So it's weakened anyways, but what I had cracks that ran from here, like on both sides. It just kind of, because it's almost like the fuselage flexed. When you landed, it flexed because there was so much weight back there, and this area just popped. I heard it. I remember hearing when I was, as soon as I touched down, I heard a pow, and I was like, well, that wasn't a hard landing. Didn't know what it was, and then it wasn't until my wheel came off that I noticed on the bottom that it had cracked on both sides. So at that point, I took some carbon with some resin and beefed it up after the fact. But ultimately, and of course, that was when I was trying to help them out, and I told them, well, look, you need to just run, like a piece of ply or something between the two bulkheads. That's all it needed, and they don't listen. So it's not, it's not a huge problem. I had flown it for a while before it happened. So it's just something I'm going to do to prevent it from happening next time. So I'm going to start on the elevator servos, or stab servos. Straightforward on these. They're held in with screws, and then there's a little hatch that we'll go over that always has to be trimmed. And their arm that you get is, where's the other one? It's a pretty beefy arm. It works for Futaba and any type of Futaba spline. It's very beefy. You could easily find one. I've seen people use their own. And it comes with a brass ball and a screw that holds it on. I'm not a fan of this kind of direct drive just because, it's metal on metal, and they are dissimilar metals, which is good, but one's going to wear faster than the other, and it's metal on metal and it's rubbing, it's always going to wear. The Skymaster ones, they do a bearing. They do like a bolt with like 3 bearings on it, and yeah, that's not necessarily perfect either. It has its own issues, but I like it a lot better than this because instead of it rubbing, it's just rolling, and there's a lot less wear. So your wear at that point is on the bearings. So if the bearings go bad, you just replace bearings. This, you hope it, and probably whatever the insert's made out of, hopefully this wears, the ball end wears faster than the insert, because the insert, it'd be a pain to get out, because I know you put them in, and the original one you put them in and you put glue around it to kind of help form it, but you could always put some oil on that and keep it from being like a permanent fixture in there, so if you ever needed to replace it, you could. This one doesn't have that. So anyway, servo goes in with the arm facing forward. The drive is forward of the shaft. I've never had any issues with that, but like I said, it's just 4 screws. They did do some pretty beefy ply and everything. It's a little oversized even for the heavy-duty Futabas, but that's okay. It makes it easy to get the servo in. So it's just going to be a quick video. actually, I'll turn off the video, put them both in, and I'll show you guys once they're done. And then I will put the thrust vectoring servos in, which are, again, really easy. They go on the inside. They're same kind of square cutout mount, and it's just a single rod back to the thrust vectoring nozzle. And then I'm going to do the rudders, save the rudders for last because they take a while. You have to, because their mounts aren't like set in here. Every time I get one, it's always scary because they don't always put, because they set the mounts and they don't put any, I don't know how they set them, but they're always off, between the two, and the shaft doesn't line straight up. If you put the servo straight in and like put the screws in, the shaft doesn't line up with the direct drive units. It's basically, it looks like a torque tube from a helicopter, where it has like the ball with the T-joint on it, and they just use that as the hinge that runs up through the rudder. So, not a fan of direct drive. Never have been, never will be. There's no mechanical advantage, it's sheer force, and the way they do it, it works, but I don't like it. It's just not the best way to do it. So I'm gonna get this knocked out real quick, and once the servos are in, then I'll kind of start on the engines, and I'll kind of show you what's in the box for the Zykoi's and everything, and then maybe we'll talk about some stuff then. So you guys take it easy, and see you soon.